beautiful. I am beautiful. I am kind. I am magical. I am divine.
Hi, my name is Swissina, and I am a filmmaker and actress. And you are tuned into Candid Conversations with the Self-Esteem Queen and host, Fiona Sharon Huff. Get ready for a dynamic heart-to-heart talk where you can truly build your self-esteem and be reminded that you are a qualified woman embodying excellence now.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, and thank you for tuning in to Candid Conversations with the Self-Esteem Queen. I am your host, Fiona Sharon Huff, better known as the Self-Esteem Queen, and I want to say Happy National Wellness Month to you. So tonight's show is really special and dear to me. It's very deep, and the inspiration behind the show for this evening is I came across some, it was on Facebook. There was a young lady, Laquita Chantel Cole, who was the founder and owner of Q.W.E.E.N Kitchen in Nashville, Tennessee. Now, this young lady, 40 years old, was doing extremely well with her restaurant business. She had constant customers, coming in. The reviews were like amazing, and but she was such a hard worker. No breaks, no vacays, and so on April the 21st. She made a post that said that she was tired and that she was going to take her a 3-day vacay. Well, she went to take a nap and she never woke up. And so tonight's topic is hustle hard, but at what cost? So this evening, I have with me the beautiful Sonya Phillips, who is a serial entrepreneur. She is an author and she is a fashion designer. Her company is Stretch Couture. So I just want to bring her on this evening with me so we can just, deep dive into this conversation about balancing being an entrepreneur, which is no joke, and balancing that with just life and living and not hustling so hard that you can't enjoy the fruits of your labor. So, Sonya, if you can join me for this candid conversation, our audience is waiting for you. Hey, girl!
Hey,
How are you? You are looking fabulous this evening.
thank you, darling. Thank you.
Yes, I see that you are wearing one of your pieces. Yes.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so before we get started, because I've seen you post this beautiful like necktie online. So tell us a little bit about that. Then we're going to get to the heart of this evening because that is, I'm peeping over your shoulder, girl. It's cute. Sonya, are you with me? Okay, her signal must have dropped, but she's going to be back on soon. So in the meantime of her coming back on, because sometimes signals, it's technology, so it does what it does, but it's not going to stop us because we're going to have this candid conversation this evening. So in the interim of her coming back on, so it really broke my heart when I read about her. So her celebration of life was actually May 3rd of this year. So her last post, and this is for Laquita Chantel Cole, the owner of QC Kitchen. So her celebration of life was May the 3rd. And when I was reading her obituary, it was just so beautiful because it was just a testament to just how beautiful of a person she was, inside and out, and how she was a hard worker, and how she was uh, created a legacy for her family. The wonderful thing about all of this is that her family is continuing on with the legacy, with what she has created. And so that's one of the things. I hope that if I'm ever in the area, that I'll have the opportunity to see and experience the food. So I'm so glad that you're back. In the meantime, I was just carrying on, just talking a little bit about Laquita and the fact that her what she has created with her restaurant is continuing. So going back to you and this beautiful necktie. So this is something that you created, you designed, and it's for sale for all of us. So tell us a little bit about that. Then we're going to get to the heart of tonight's topic. Are you there?
I don't know why I keep getting kicked out. I don't know what's wrong.
It's okay. We will figure this thing out. Let me see. But well, okay. There you go, beautiful. But I can't hear you though. I can't hear you. You want? Let me see. So I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Okay, so hold on. Okay, so she's just having a bit of technical difficulties, and like I said, that's something that happens. So we will continue on. Hopefully, she'll be back on, and the signal will be strong enough for us to carry on this conversation. So with Laquita, her family is carrying on the restaurant in her honor. So I'm really happy about that. And should I have the opportunity to go to Nashville, Tennessee, I would love to taste the food, just in honor of her and what she started. The wonderful thing is that she was dedicated, but in our dedication to building, an empire, having multiple streams of income, with our entrepreneurship, it is so important to have a balance. And I'll just talk a little bit about my day. So I got up really early. I don't care how old my children are. I'm always going to be mom. I honor being a mom. I love the role of being a mom. And so, although my children are very independent, I enjoy getting up in the morning and fixing breakfast. So I got up early this morning because my son, he leaves out about 7:20 maybe for work. So I got up early so I can fix him, his breakfast, and we can just have time to talk. And then after that, I did some stretching, and then I had an appointment today, so I went and I did that. But in the midst of even preparing for this evening's podcast, I took a nap. And this is just a part of self-care because, I knew that I was going to have, somewhat of a busy day, but if I did not take a nap, I wouldn't be refreshed in order to be present for you all this evening. I would look pale and tired, I would look busted, and, I'm just not going to do that because I have to show up strong for myself and for you all. So a part of the tools, for your entrepreneurial toolbox is to make sure that you are getting some rest in the midst of everything, and then having boundaries, having boundaries for yourself, for your business, for your, so even your social media interaction. So I used to burn the midnight oil. I would, get up early, go to bed late, and I'm just grinding throughout the day because I gotta, I have these goals. I have all these to-dos and these goals that's written down for the day, and I need to check them all off. I need to get them all done. And I'm forgetting to drink water, which water is an important thing for our brain. Like you need water for your brain and for your insides. Not getting enough rest because I'm inspired and the adrenaline is pumping and I gotta get this done, just one more thing, just one more thing, just one more thing, and that thing that I've done turns into a thing that leads me to it being 12 all the way to it being 6 o'clock in the morning, and then I can't go to sleep because I have to prepare for school or whatever. So it's just really about having some boundaries for yourself, and even setting a time where after, and I do encourage this in the morning when you get up, before you tune in to emails and social media and looking at your calendar and all of that, stretching and having, whether it's prayer or meditation time. And then once you do that, that helps to set the tone for your day. And then you have a schedule of, okay, at this particular time, let's say at 8 o'clock to 9 is when you are, checking your emails, or you're doing, a few posts. Now, when you do your posts, don't post and then stroll, because I'm going to tell you, when you do that, it will lead you to it being 1, 2, and even 3 hours, where, yes, it's nice to see what your friends and colleagues and so forth are doing, but those 3 hours could have been used toward your business, and then you would have time later in the evening or whatever, midday, for you to get some rest or to do self-care or something where you just kind of have some downtime, because you can't keep going and going and going and going, because you're going to crash and burn. You're going to be exhausted. I had a conversation, or rather, so maybe about 2 podcasts ago, I had my sissy, Boss Sparks of Boss Sparks Inc. on. Actually, this was the podcast where the topic of what's wrong with shopping at H&M. And so Boss Sparks talked about the fact that she would just be going so hard because she felt like, she just had to accomplish this, that, and the third, that her body shut down on her for like 2 weeks straight. She couldn't do anything because she did not give herself time to rest. And so I don't know the full scope of what happened with Laquita, except the fact that she did not take any time off. She did not take many vacations and so forth, because truth be told, she was building a business, and that's completely understandable. But no breaks, no mini vacations. It's not saying that you have to go to another state, another country. I mean, you can find some really beautiful spaces and places within the area that you live in, to just break away from the monotony, or break away from just the business of what you do, because the reality is, being an entrepreneur is more than a full-time job, because you don't have the opportunity to get a paycheck, like a 9 to 5, because you have to make that money, and if you aren't the one that's bringing it in, then how are you going to get it? So let me just bring. Okay, so she's back. Hello, beautiful.
So I got on my laptop. Can you
Okay.
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you wonderfully now.
Okay.
So I was just giving some tips in the interim of you coming back in. I was talking about the importance of having balance, and even setting boundaries for yourself as an entrepreneur, down to social media. You make your post at a certain time, and then you do maybe a little engagement, but you don't keep scrolling, because that can go into 2 and 3 hours. So You being an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur, and I do again want you to talk about that beautiful necktie you have on
Yeah.
because it's looking so good, and I know it would look good on me. Okay.
Yeah.
So give us a little bit of background about you, and then let's talk about some entrepreneurial tips that can go into our toolbox to help us to balance.
Okay.
Right.
Absolutely. So, hello everyone. My name is Sonya Phillips, and as she stated, I am a fashion designer. I've been a cut and sew fashion designer for over 30 years. My business, Stretch Couture, has been established for 24 years in the city of Virginia Beach, and so now I teach sewing lessons to all ages and all levels, from the very beginning of how to thread it, how to do hand sewing, to sewing machine sewing, up into people that want to make their own clothing, and even aspiring fashion designers. I do have an institute where I teach you all the ins and outs of the fashion business. Um, and so for me, I'm blessed to actually have a second business, which is a body contouring studio and spa. So we do a lot of things to help people with wellness and with um, just relaxing. One of the things I say so often is that a lot of the weight that we carry as women can't be measured on a scale, because most of the women in my network are doing more than just one thing.
Right.
They're running businesses, they're probably working a full-time or part-time job, they have children, they have a husband, they may be caring for their aging parents, um, a dog that requires a lot of care, so often we just have to take time for ourselves. And so with Dream Shape Body Contouring, that's my wellness business. With that, I do have a partner, and we started this business because she was stressed out, and she ended up getting a heart condition. And so her doctor told her, number one, she had to quit her job, and because it was stressing her out. And then the other thing was some of the medications that she was taking really affected her heart. So she went on a journey to find other ways to lose weight in a healthy way. And so we found body contouring. And so our business is based on, you know, just basically taking care of yourself holistically. So you just gotta like make the time, because if you don't, your body will make it for you.
It sure will. I was mentioning in the interim of you coming back on how my sissy, which you very well know, Boss Sparks, she talked about on a previous podcast that she was going so hard one time that her body literally shut down and she could not
Mm-hmm.
do anything. So shout out to my big sissy, because she's doing some things, some big things. We say
Yes.
we all are. But that's just a real thing. And when I think about Laquita, it's just like it is a it is a warning. It's
Mm-hmm.
a warning about balance.
Yeah.
So how do you create balance, for yourself? Because you since I've known you, since I've been back in the Hampton Roads area, um, you have just you've been on the move, not just with your businesses, but also being a servant leader as well. So
Mhm.
how do you balance everything? How do you hustle but not hustle so hard that it's to the detriment of your health?
So the first thing I'll say is I don't have balance. What I do is I find harmony. So for
Okay.
me, that looks like not doing everything. And one of the things that I do for myself is I have what's called a priority matrix. So a priority matrix is nothing new, but I just have my own version that I make for myself. So what I did was one day I just sat down, like this was like during the pandemic, that I really evaluated everything that I did, and I wrote a list, whether it was a job, whether it was a business, whether it was one of the nonprofits that I work in, whether it was a hobby that I was working on. And I just looked at everything that I was doing, and then I went through and I made a list of letters. Like A was, is it something that's a direct money making opportunity? B would be
Okay.
something like an indirect money making opportunity, like a networking event. C would be something that is urgent. You know, D might be something that's necessary. And I just kept going down the list, and then I included things in the list of something that brings me joy, and then why am I even doing this? You know, and so I went through and I really just assigned these letters to each item. And some things had more than one letter. For example, going to my body contouring business is something that is a direct money making opportunity, but it's also something that is necessary because with this business, I work on my own health because I am a product of my product. So since I've been in this business, you know, I've been working towards being healthier. You know, I've even gotten certified as a nutritionist and implementing the things that I've learned, you know, and so I'm able to help other people on their wellness journey because I'm continuing to work on my own. So looking at something like a networking event, it might be an indirect money making opportunity because I'm not making money to go to the event, but I might meet a potential client. But it's also something that brings me joy because I love meeting new people. But then I have certain things like that might be on my calendar, and I look and I ask myself, why am I even going to said event? It's not making me no money. It's not even something I enjoy. You know, it's not something that's necessary or urgent. Cross it off. Don't waste your time. So there's gonna be times that I may go to work and I might be tired, but then there's also times that I go to work and I'm energized because I absolutely love what I do. So I feel like that's part of it where the harmony comes in because in my work, when I'm teaching in sewing classes, I absolutely love teaching kids and adults how to sew and getting paid for it.
Right.
So, you know, so I feel like it works together. It's not necessarily a balance, but it's a harmony because the joy and the necessity to go out here and work kind of work together. So I think finding that place in your life where what you do works well together, like a chorus. Everybody might not sing at the same time, but together as a choir, they harmonize. So it's a lot of moving parts to a choir. You got your sopranos, you got your altos, you know, they don't always balance each other out per se, but they work together to create harmony. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So everything in your life may not balance because your family might not have the same weight as a nonprofit that you volunteer with, but they both, you know, might work together if you're able to spend time with your family by inviting them to the nonprofit event and y'all can have do something together that might, you know, give y'all some quality time, but also do good. You know, so I think it's a lot of space in what we do where we can find things that'll work together.
Yeah, listen, I'm a note taker, right? And I wrote down priority matrix. Now, I never heard that term or
Okay.
the breakdown that you did like that, but I like that. So I'm going to look more into the, and like you said, why am I doing it?
Yeah.
Because I
And
get,
I'll send you a link that you can share with your viewers. You know, you can probably post it in the notes. Or as a matter of fact, this will be on your Facebook page, correct?
yes, yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
what I'll do is I'll post a link because it's on Canva, but I have it as a view link on Canva that anybody can click it and see it.
Okay.
And so I'll make sure I post the link in the comments under your Facebook page. So anybody that wants to try it out can access it. And then what they can do is make a copy of it and edit it and do whatever they want to do with it. You know what I'm saying? But it really helped me to organize and prioritize the things I do in my life.
That makes perfect sense because I think about as I'm continuing with the building and the branding
Mm-hmm.
of the Self-Esteem Queen and even taking it to its next level. Um, I have to prioritize because there's some things that will take away my attention, and then I feel like I'm doing something when really it's not benefiting what I'm doing, and then I'm burning myself out trying to be here, there, and everywhere. when how important is getting rest when it comes
Oh yeah.
to how important is rest in all of this? Because again, with Laquita, just not getting enough rest and just being exhausted, and whatever else was going on. But do you make time for proper rest? Do you believe in getting that 8 hours, or do you take increments of naps?
Yeah, I don't really do a lot of naps anymore because my life is so busy. But what I will say is I have sleep apnea, and with that, I have a CPAP machine, so it monitors how many hours I sleep. So I'll say, me personally, I try to sleep between 6 to 8 hours, and I do prioritize my rest because I am on a weight loss journey, and people don't realize that getting enough rest helps with your metabolism, which helps you to lose weight. So between the sleep apnea and also, just mindful of that, I need rest, just like you need water. Like, you think about these things, but you don't realize how important these things are behind the scenes. Like, if you only knew how water is used in your body, like, people don't drink their water like they should, and get dehydrated, and they don't even realize it. So it's a lot of things that your body needs that is very important. So rest and sleep is one of those things. So your body can rebuild and can do certain functions that needs to happen while you're resting. But what I will say with that is, in this day and age, is people are overstimulated. Like, TV doesn't cut off anymore. I'm old. I remember when TV used to cut off about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying? I remember a time we had one good event that we look forward to all month. We getting our outfit together. We on the rotary phone
The
asking
Rotary.
Tamika what you gonna wear to the party, and the $50 ticket was the expensive party. I remember when $50 was the expensive tickets. Now I'm going to a gala coming up that's like 175, and so but it's so worth it though. You know what I'm saying? Because it's for nonprofits, for a good cause, and I've been a recipient of scholarships. So now in this day and age, I don't knock these events that are expensive because they do good work. But I remember a time when it wasn't something every weekend, three somethings every weekend, five somethings, on the same day. You gotta look at everybody's Facebook, and you remember, I don't know how old you are, Fiona, but I remember with Facebook, it was only for college students. So, it wasn't even that much to see, but spring break, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
now we have so much content everywhere between YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and then everybody's doing an event. Everybody is online. Everybody is look at me, come to my thing, buy my thing, watch my thing, show up for my thing, and it's just too much. And so what I had to realize is that a part of setting boundaries is not just for you, it's for me. So that priority matrix helps me police myself and ask myself the important questions, like, is this thing really important? Like, if I know I have a 7 o'clock thing, am I gonna be at something that's till 2 in the morning if it's not uh a intimate person's birthday or something, or if it's not my own thing I'm doing? Like, why would I go to your thing just to be out to 2 in the morning when I know I have a 7 o'clock thing? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Right.
I think it's important that we don't oversaturate ourselves with all the things, because there's so many things that are always happening, and so that's a big part of it, is policing yourself. And I have to tell myself, no, I'm not going to do some things. Just like, for example, there's an event I really want to go to Friday night. It's a $55 ticket price associated, but I know I have sewing clients that I have to deliver their things by Sunday. So I have a full day Saturday. So I'm like, okay, I need to use my time Friday doing my working, like, doing my work, you know what I'm saying? Because as much as I want to go out and play, I gotta work because guess what? I'm gonna get sleep because I could sacrifice my sleep if I wanted to go to said event Friday and then like do an all-nighter and be up all day and all night Saturday just to meet the deadline of my Sunday client. But because I've grown, I'm gonna forgo the good time Friday night and just look at the pictures when they post them on Facebook and Instagram and do my work and get my money.
Right.
And meet my client, you know. So the boundaries aren't just for other people, because a lot of people think about boundaries, you know, for the people outside, but sometimes you have to police yourself.
Right.
And I think that that's a big part that goes into your rest, because another thing is access. Not everyone can have access to you, and that's what I'm learning. I'm a very nice person and I'm a very kind person, but guess who we having on that do not disturb? Because I got stuff to do that don't involve you, and I ain't trying to be bothered because I have certain deadlines I have to meet. I have to focus on certain things, and I can't be distracted by every shiny key, by every notification, by every text message. You know, like say sometimes what I do now when I'm working, when I set my block of time to work on a sewing project, I put on a do not disturb so that way every 5 seconds I'm not stopping my sewing project to look and see who's texting me or what is going on Instagram, because I have a deadline I have to meet. I have a garment I have to produce for a client. I can't be on Instagram and Facebook and every text message, you know, every 5 seconds when I hear the little alert go off. So that do not disturb, and that's, you know, I have that on an iPhone. I don't know if you guys have something similar on Androids, but
I have an iPhone.
Yeah, so you know, I turn off my do not disturb. You know, I set a bedtime reminder. You know, so it's like a little twinkle little star thing that and it reminds me, hey girl, it's time to get off of whatever you're doing and take yourself to bed. You know,
Right.
So I think a big part of it is setting boundaries, not just for other people, but for yourself, and B, limiting access, meaning your own access. Like put the phone face down, turn the ringer off, put a do not disturb on, and focus on what's important. That what's important could be dinner with Clara. It could be you working on a project. It could be you having this podcast with me. Like I made sure, so I'm on my computer now, but when I was on my phone, I made sure I put on my do not disturb because I didn't want text messages coming in while we were doing our broadcast, you know. So making yourself unavailable sometimes, you know, will help you to focus on being present with whatever that is, whether it's being present with you right now on this broadcast, or perhaps you being present on a project. So sometimes you have to limit distractions so you can be present.
And you know, and for me, in building, you know, the legacy, the empire, the business, understanding again my why for doing it, and then like you said, that access word. Ooh, yes. When I tell you, I had to learn that. I won't say the hard way, but because people, I hardly rested. It'd be 2:00 in the morning. People inbox me, "What are you doing up?" And you know, and I'm like, "Well, what are you doing up? And why are you asking me why am I doing up?" So I had to stop even. As soon as a notification came in or a DM or whatever, I'm stopping what I'm doing, like you said, and responding to it, because that's taken away from, you know, what I need to focus on. Or even just when I get on, because the way I engage and I operate on social media is a lot different. I've recognized over this past, you know, couple of weeks is I have a focus of what it is I'm up there to do. Like, for example, today, I knew that, you know, we were going to be doing, you know, having the podcast this evening. So my focus was, okay, I did, you know, my Good Morning Gorgeous, you know, video. And then I focused on promoting the podcast, you know, and that was pretty much it. So I wasn't on, you know, scrolling down and seeing who got what going on, because that would take away from what I have to do. And then when I need to get some rest in preparation for us coming on and doing the live podcast, I'd be exhausted or may not even be able to do it. And then I would be looking all dusty. And then y'all be talking about me, you know what I'm saying? and I can't have that. So it's the limited access, and I had to learn from my daughter, my number one rider, to put that D&D on my phone. Like I did not know that was a thing. I didn't pay attention. I just like when I got the iPhone, which was because of her. I love the videos and the pictures, and how they look. So I wasn't paying attention to the other important features that they actually have up there. But baby, when she put me onto it, I was like, oh, it's a whole new world. And then building, the legacy, the business, the ministry, whatever it is that you've been called to do. Yeah, it's important to be dedicated to it. But again, having that balance. So we love walking. We're part of Girl Trek. We're both crew leaders for that, and so we enjoy going to Mount Trashmore and walking, whether we are leading an actual walk event or just us having time to bond.
Right.
That's so important. And as we are bonding, we are building, and we're talking about my business, her business. She's a newly commissioned notary for the state of Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're my boo. So we are, we're building as we're walking, as we're investing in our health. And so that goes to the future bigger thing, but it's like having a balance. We love the botanical gardens. Some months ago, she blessed me. She surprised me with a membership. I hadn't had a membership in like 2 years, and so we love walking through the flowers, and it's just beautiful. It's peaceful. It's that harmony that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So while and I love doing my Self-Esteem Queen Walk Challenge. I love the podcast, the midweek check-in. Those are things I'm dedicated to doing, because I know the calling that I have on my life and the importance of helping, women, Black women, to build up and maintain their self-esteem.
Right.
But I also have to pour into me, and because we are in the month of August, which is, National Wellness Month, self-care as and you, again, I know you can attest to it because we talked something about it, but self-care is so crucial to an entrepreneur's life, or someone who is a CEO of a company. It's so important because you give and you pour to others, and then you got to have something for yourself. You and I we were talking briefly when we were at First Fridays just about the contour, and I was like, oh, I need to get over there because so I am fabulously 50. I'll be 51 in December.
Okay.
And so I say that I'm young in reverse.
Are you trying to Benjamin Button them?
What'd you say?
You trying to Benjamin Button them? You know how you ever seen that movie with Benjamin Button when he aged backwards?
So it's like I can't do everything I did like when I was 16 or 21. So having that balance, taking that time, resting, is so important because, you hustle hard, but again, at what cost, like I love the word harmony. So I gotta, one of the things with National Wellness Month is, self-care. It's adopting healthy habits and finding strategies to navigating what life be life in. And one of the things that Boss Sparks mentioned also was watching our words and finding empowered words to speak. Because we know that life and death is in the power of the tongue. So watching what we say so that it brings that harmony, like you said. So balance is, it has its place, but I like the word harmony. Harmony. It sounds so.
Well, I'm not knocking anybody that believes in balance. And I just think for me, the way that I live, I live my life so differently than most people because I have multiple business. I do many things, I always tell people it's like, I'm like a cat living all 9 lives at the same time, because I like trying new things. And, like this year, my thing, I want to learn how to DJ. Cause like last year, my thing was I made a song, so, I don't plan on going on tour or nothing, but I do have a song out there. I'm a member of ASCAP. So I have I'm I guess because I wrote it myself. It was a spoken word poem, but I got with a producer, bought a beat, went in the studio, and basically made a song. It's something I wanted to do, and I did. And so I don't, like, even with creative arts, I'm a fashion designer, but I've been featured in several museums. I've actually been featured in the Botanical Gardens on 3 different occasions, and I've sold art out of there. So I'm not just an artist that creates. I've actually sold my work out of the Botanical Gardens. I've been featured at the Norfolk State James Wise Gallery. I've had stuff at the Slover. So even though I'm a fashion designer, I'm still an artist too, and like today before this podcast, I had an event at the Sandler Center where it's Black Philanthropy Month, and the Hampton Roads Community Foundation had a program that was geared towards, the Black philanthropy and the arts. And so I was one of the featured artists. So I was able to have like my fashion stuff, but I also showcased some pieces on canvas, like some actual art pieces, and so I think that some people are creatives and I don't like being put in a box per se, so like I'm a member of a music studio, and I've been a member of this music group for like 7 years. And it's for creatives. So I will always tell people that I'm a visual artist instead of a recording artist. But now I can actually say, I am a musician. I am a recording artist because I have a song. Like it's streaming on all platforms, so you can actually go listen to it. You can like use it if you were making a post on social media. You could like use my song.
What's the type? What's your song?
It's called "Let Me Live,"
Okay.
and it's Sonya Z, the sexy unicorn, with 3 X's in it. And so it started out as a poem with me just kind of saying, don't worry about you. Don't worry about me. Worry about you. Don't worry about me. Let me live. Basically, let me do what I'm doing. Let me live my life. You live your life and let me live mine. Because I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so you worry about you. And that's pretty much the hook. It's not a long song. It's not a whole bunch with it, but it was a poem that I turned into a song. And like I said, got with a producer. I wanted a more Afro beats kind of piano sound with it. And, just went through that process. And so at least now I know what it's like to record a song, and my next thing I want to do, my fun thing, my personal outlet, I want to learn how to DJ. It's not that I want to, really like be rocking a bunch of parties, but it's just something I want to try and do. I want to ride in a hot air balloon at some point. Just some things. Like I feel like you work hard, you deserve to play hard. Whatever that is for you, however you like to play, I think you should do it.
So I think the other thing is just understanding who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding who you are and what your ultimate, I guess, goal is.
Mm-hmm.
And with your life, and that will help you to have the harmony, have the balance. Be able to build that business, but also have that personal side. So I think that's so important. But again, it depends on who you are. Like I just want people to enjoy their lives, enjoy, being an entrepreneur, because it's a beautiful thing, and I'm
It
still
is. I love it.
I'm still evolving in that.
Yes.
I actually had a business meeting today at the Hive, and
that was, I love it there.
Huh?
I said I love it there. That really is. I love the Hive. I've had a few. I've gone to a lot of stuff there, but I've also hosted some workshops there around, because I've been talking to them because they don't have a lot of creative entrepreneurship stuff there. So I have a youth entrepreneur program where I teach kids how to sew and make bow ties and teach them how to sell them so they can start their own fashion business. And so I'm looking to try to do a workshop there to promote youth entrepreneurship.
Listen, I'm that type of person. I've always been this way. I will go into a center, library, whatever, and I'm going straight to the resources or the leaflets, the flyers,
Yep,
and
me
see what they
too.
have going on.
Bulletin
And
board. You remember people
listen,
had them bulletin boards?
yes. And so when I went to the Hive after I had my meeting,
Mm-hmm.
um, I signed up for the newsletter,
Oh
and
yes.
then I saw all of the things that they have going on, and I was just like, oh, this is wonderful.
Yeah.
Now this is something, or the Hive and the programs that they offer is something that an entrepreneur, particularly whether they are in Virginia Beach, which is where it is based,
Yeah.
or just in the Hampton Roads area,
Right.
should be so that they can if they're a small business, a starter business, or
Mm-hmm.
want to grow and so forth. It's a beautiful place to be. So I plan to be there more.
Yeah.
How I found out about the Hive was because of Chance Wilson. So Chance, shout out to you, my friend. You
Oh
are
yeah.
awesome,
Mhm. I
amazing.
saw him at that meeting. They just had a partner meeting recently, and I
Okay.
was there at that.
Yeah, so I attended an event that he hosted, and then back at that
Okay.
time, he was talking about AI, and
Oh yeah.
this was actually like sometime the end of I think it was like the end of last year, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so from the time that he did that workshop to what's going on now and ChatGPT and all these things, I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
wow. So it was a resourceful place. So that's a place as an entrepreneur I need to have on my to-do list, my appointment
Mm-hmm.
list, my something, because that's going to build me up productively. It's not going to take away from me. And then, of course, I have, the botanical gardens or the neighborhood or Mount Trashmore for that balance and harmony because I love walking, I love exercising.
Mm-hmm.
And when you talk about that why, that's important to me. Living, is important, especially when you are blessed to say that you are 50 plus. It's a blessing, baby. It's a blessing to
Yes.
be alive and to walk. And a part of our
Mm-hmm.
balance also, I had an assessment yesterday for aquatic therapy. So
Okay.
I'm really excited about that. I already have in mind the bathing suit, that I'm going to wear, the
Okay.
shorts and all of that. So because I've always heard of people doing water therapy, but just never thought about it. So when you talk about just trying new things and things
Yeah.
for our health and it's so important, especially like when you get into that 50 plus club.
Yeah.
So, but again, just having that harmony, that balance, understanding your why, and being able to navigate so that it's a win-win. You want to be able to have that doing business, that
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurship, and
Yeah.
then also be able to smile and laugh and be happy and not uptight.
Yeah. So I do want to share something that you said is that you just wanted people to be happy, and I know a big part of your platform is that self-esteem piece. And one thing that I would say that really set me free was releasing the need for outside validation. And I
Ooh.
feel like I became my own person, like maybe middle school, going into high school. I, developed who I was becoming. But even as a only child from a single parent, I remember times in my life where I consistently wanted validation, whether it was, from friends, from a relationship, from a job, I felt like I needed and wanted validation, and I can say that even once I became an adult and kind of got into my own lifestyle, I started to need people's validation less and less and less and less. But
Ooh, excuse me.
ooh, bless you. And I'm not going to say I don't value wise counsel, from friends and family members, but I can say that, I went through a time and, was had a really bad argument with somebody, and one of my really good girlfriends was like, "You need to forgive yourself." So I ended up cussing her out because I'm like, you know, F you, But after doing some inner work and everything, I'm like, you know what? I do need to forgive myself for giving that person the power over me to make me feel less than. And once I realized that, I took my power back, so to speak. And I realized I don't need that person's permission to basically do what I want to do and to be happy. Because some people are dream killers and joy stealers. They
Right.
just hate you because you're happy. Because they're miserable. They want everybody to be miserable. And so just being that person that believes in yourself and loves yourself and gives yourself the permission, as well as giving yourself grace. Like, I think about a lot of us will forgive other people and bend over backwards for other people, but are really hard on ourselves. So learning to give yourself grace and learning to give yourself that permission, basically once you realize you don't need nobody's validation or permission, you'll be set free to live your best life. That's what I think. That's my own experience that I went through. Releasing the need from outside validation truly set me free.
That's a key point, and that's really how I live my life, bold and unapologetically. Like you said, it's not about because even the word talks about wise counsel. So wise counsel is important. However, when you know who you are and whose you are, and this is for this is for believers. I'm not trying to put nothing on nobody, but I'm just saying who I am. I know what's important, and I know the calling on my life. Therefore, I'm going to do what I believe God has inspired me or shown me to do. And either you rock with me or you don't. And if you don't, it's perfectly okay, because we all have to come to an understanding of where we're supposed to be. And not everybody's going to like what we do. They're going to like us. They're going to rock with us. They're going to support us. That's perfectly okay. But just rocking with you. Like, I can go anywhere. I don't need an entourage. I am a socialite by heart. I promise you. I was minding my own business today, and during the journey of HRT, the bus system, and light rail, and I had 5 conversations that people just struck up with me. I'm minding my own business in my own little lane, not bothering nobody, not talking to nobody, but just them feeling the spirit of somebody who is positive, and so I'm cool with that. I can go anywhere and I can make friends, you know what I mean? Because I show myself to be a friendly, a loving person, not perfect, but I know who I am, right? So
and you be dressed to a T, honey. So I'm sure they were like, "Oh, you look cute."
Listen, I was at an appointment the day before yesterday, and I mentioned this on last night's midweek check-in that the young lady and I, we sparked up a conversation based on her complimenting me about my glasses, which I got these glasses, girl, from a beauty supply store. And I said this last night. So I got it from a beauty supply store. And one of the lenses, and I've had these glasses for like over a year. So one of the lenses had came out, and it was in my pocketbook one day. And I'm like, oh my gosh, and I could not fix it. So guess what I did? I
plugged the other one out. Girl, look.
And I wore look, hello. And so, everywhere I'm going, including, yesterday, a conversation, just about them. And so it just created a bond, a sister bond. And I was sharing with her about the platform and so forth. And she was like, oh, I really need this. And she was telling me about an experience that she was having with workplace bullying.
Oh yeah.
So it just created and that's something that I'm actually going to touch on for October. October being National Bully Month, so that's a topic I'm going to cover, later in the fall. But just the conversation based on a compliment, based on fashion, because I'm a thrifter. I love thrift. In fact, this dress I have what I'll be doing my little mini photo shoot after the podcast. Okay. And after I do the podcast, I do my little mini photo shoot, and then those pictures I use to do my Good Morning Gorgeous, in the morning. So, but yeah, this dress that I got, I love Goodwill thrift store. I love Goodwill thrift store and CHKD thrift store. So I got
Okay.
this for it was $7.99, but because it had a blue tag, I got 50% off.
Okay.
So and brand new,
Wow.
brand new from Sheen.
Okay.
So, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, I love me some fashion. I absolutely love fashion, and so that's something that I connect with people on. You know, just based off of I love thrift and I love fashion. I am a girly girl. Even when I was a pre-K assistant teacher and a lead pre-K teacher for a private daycare, I have on my heels because that's who I am and what I love. My grandfather introduced me to pumps back then,
Yeah.
so I'm definitely telling my young age. He introduced me to pumps at 13 years old, and so they got higher and higher. You know, by the time I got to Norfolk State when I was modeling, and then to New York, they went from the pumps to 5-inch heels. But that's what
Stilettos, pumps in the club. Stilettos, pumps.
and I love them. But you know, I know that when I would go outside with my students, of course I'm gonna have my Crocs. You know what I mean? But that's what I love. And in fact, I have posted a video maybe about a month ago, where the classroom that was next to me, the little girls wanted to do my Self-Esteem Queen walk. So we actually went around the classroom table, doing the walk, and it just blessed my heart because that's what I love to do. My self-esteem is tied to fashion. It's tied to my grandma always taught me that when you walk out the house, you look and feel your absolute best. So I get it from them. I get it from my mom. I used to be my mama's heels, makeup, jewelry. Still do. Still
Mama.
do. Huh?
I said, mama.
Still do, yes. She got me one time because I had it was a brand new. She loves leopard, so it was a brand new leopard person. It had it was infused with a little red. You know I love red, so I called myself having her back. Well, baby, she was like, "What are you doing, my purse?" So why'd you take the purse?
Oh man.
But I get, huh?
Like, what you do with your stuff that was in it? What, you had to put it in a Food Line bag or something?
No, I had another bag, you know what I mean? But
Okay.
But it just goes to show you that I love fashion just like that, you know what I mean? It was a fun, it was such a funny moment. I laugh about it like even now, but it's just knowing who you are and being unapologetic about it, and just it's that internal happiness and that internal peace, so it just all coincides with the harmony, the balance, and still being a beast, still being a boss, but just making sure that that you are invested in your mental and your physical and your emotional and your spiritual well-being. You know what I mean? That's really important for me. That's why I have the platform of I jump rope for them. Using jump roping as as a conversation piece for mental health well-being. So it just all comes together. So as I do these podcasts with these various topics and bring on beautiful, wonderful sisters and queens like you, it's to help us all because none of us have arrived. We all need each other to have those nuggets, to have those things that we put in our self-esteem toolbox, so that we can be our absolute best first for ourselves and live for our loved ones and live for the community, because we are servant leaders at the end of the day, and entrepreneurs and bosses. So as we close out, is there anything else that you want to share with us in terms of what you have going on, what's next for you, and where can I see? Okay, so let me just tell you. Don't tell my son, right? Because he's asleep right now. But he is trying to put me on a budget. But I love clothes. So I need for you to tell me and the listening audience about that necktie.
Let me sit close up one more time.
Listen, because you know I ain't let that go since we started. So tell us about that and then what you got
Yeah,
going on.
so I call them my necktie necklaces, and so I actually have a pattern that I actually make myself, the necktie, and then it's you can put a necklace in it. Now I have some where you can buy it with a necklace already, or you
Okay.
can put your own pearls in it. I have different ones, but you can just I just put my number out there, 757-343-7018, and I am in the Hampton Roads area. I also have let's see, so I don't have them on my website because I always sell them when I go out. But I would say social media, you can follow me at Stretch Couture, and that's StretchCouture. Stretch Couture. You can follow me there, and you can DM me or inbox me. Um, I have like on the page, you can always comment on a picture if you see one you like. I do custom pieces. I usually say it's about a 2 to 3 week turnaround for anything custom because of my schedule, but I do still take custom things. But I would say the easiest way to contact me, you can visit my website, www.sonyazphillips.com, and you can reach me through there. But I say honestly, the easiest way is if you take that phone number and call or text me, you know. But if you just Google me on social media, I'll come up because I'm like my digital footprint is really big. As far as what I have coming up, I'm just looking for opportunities to teach people to sew. So
Okay.
right now I am running a summer special, 2 hours of sewing instruction for $100. Normally my classes are $80 an hour, so you save $60 by booking the 2 hour session, and I'm going to run that up until September 1st. So
Okay.
you can prepay now between now and September 1st, and you have to December 1st to book your lesson. So you can
Okay.
pay now and so later. It's kind
I
of
like that. Pay now so
yeah.
later.
So I know a
Okay.
lot of people might really want to do it, but they're not ready like right now. But you have till December 1st to use the 2 hour session. I am looking for organizations that have a budget to invite me out to do group classes. Like I said, my big thing right now is just teaching young people how to make the bows and the bow ties, and get them in the mindset of fashion entrepreneurship, and basically just kind of putting the phone down for a few minutes and learning a basic life skill like sewing, because with the foundations of sewing that I teach you to make these bows, the young people can't use that to hem pants or sew up a hole, or what have you. And there's so many mental health benefits of sewing, including focus, mindfulness, and the feeling of accomplishment once you've done something for yourself. And I just encourage everyone to consider entrepreneurship because that is a gateway to wealth. So yeah, and then as far as my other business, Dream Shape Body Contouring, we are running a special right now for teachers, and it's a storefront. We actually have a location on Chesapeake Boulevard in Norfolk. So we help you reach your weight loss and wellness goals, and we do have spa services as well, like ionic foot detoxes and facials. So yeah, take some time for yourself. Consider coming out and getting a spa treatment. And yeah, I'm just here for it. So you can follow Dream Shape on Instagram too. It's Dream Shape 757 on most social media. So that's pretty much it for me. I'm out here, I'm just want to teach people to sew and helping people reach their weight loss and wellness goals, man.
Now, are you participating at all with the fashion show that's on the 9th?
So I've been helping behind the scenes because
Okay.
I'm not available to attend on the night, because I'm also a part of a pit crew for Tiffany Harrell. I don't know if you had a chance to meet her, but she is the very first black female disabled veteran NASCAR racer out at Langley. And so we have a
Oh,
race. But my role with the fashion show, I've been promoting the sponsorship. So they are still looking for businesses to sponsor them. And I've been recruiting models because I know they are still looking for models for the show. They already do have the boutiques locked in for the show, and it benefits the Virginia Beach chapter of the NAACP. Mhm. Yeah, and so they are looking for people to purchase tickets. You can purchase tickets on Eventbrite for that fashion show. That's going to be, I want to say, like 3 p.m. to like 6 p.m. on this coming Saturday. So
Right.
tickets are still available, and I believe they are still accepting models, and they are absolutely still accepting sponsors.
Awesome. And I just want to say that I am a new member of the Virginia Beach branch of the
Oh,
NAACP.
congratulations!
Yay! So
Are you modeling? Are you gonna model in the show?
so here's the thing. Originally, I wanted to be one, but it was going to conflict with a youth tour that I was supposed to be a workshop facilitator for and speaker for. Unfortunately, it has to be postponed because of the death of one of the directors.
Oh, I'm
So
sorry to hear that.
I now have so I'm in prayer for the director and the family,
Mhm.
and just a delay is not a denial. I always believe in that. So maybe
Right.
it's just that the organization will have more time to do other things in preparation. So I'm still locked in for that for the new date. However, I now have the availability. So I'm going to
I'm gonna
put
text you when we get off this call. I'm gonna text you the point of contact because, like I said, I won't be there, but I can send you the information for the point of contact, Miss Diane Creekmore, and
okay.
she can let you know what's going on because I actually have a sewing class that morning, and then, like I said, I have to head over to Langley for the race because I'm
For the
actually part of
event.
the crew, and I
But
do the
that,
social media for
that's
them.
awesome. So you have to let me know a little bit more about her. I was not aware. So and that's what talking amongst sisters and so forth is about. Is you just find out just wonderful things about other people who are doing great things. So thank you so much for joining me this evening on
It was my
Conversations
pleasure.
with the Self-Esteem Queen. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure that you share the replay. I will be posting it. So share, because sharing is caring. And always remember that you are a qualified woman embodying excellence. Now, please make sure that you keep your crown straight because you are great. And I will see you all next time. Candid Conversations with the Self-Esteem Queen is every first and third Thursday of the month at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We go live on Facebook as well as YouTube and other platforms to be announced soon. So thank you all. Have a great evening. Thank you so much, Sonya, and I will see you all next time.
All right, bye.
Bye.